What's up, guys? It's Mike, the Smoking Monkey, and it's another beautiful day. I'm halfway through testing out this new Givi windshield, or GV windshield, whatever you guys want to call it. And so far so good. It's been about a week with this thing on here, but I think that I've been giving it some thought, and I don't even know why most of you guys want a windshield on a naked bike. Like, why did you guys buy a naked sports bike in the first place? Honestly here. So that's what today's topic's going to be about. I'm going to talk about, do you actually even need a windshield on a naked sports bike? Does it make sense to get one? And what situations would you actually use it in? So I've got a good list for you guys, but first I got to keep riding around a little bit and find a nice spot to pull over, because I'm in the city today and there's not too many great spots, and I don't want you guys staring at a parking lot at the side of like a food store or something like that. So, and if you're new to the channel, I've been riding this bike for about a year now, a year and a half now. This is my second season, and I've done about 4,500 kilometers on this bike. Now, I've been riding most of that, I'd say 80% of that distance, with no windscreen, just the stock bike, just how it comes, regular SV650, 3rd gen, and it's been great. I never actually felt the need to get a windshield, but I had a lot of people commenting on my channel that they wanted to have my opinion on it, or they wanted to see if I had one, or just what my thoughts were. And I figured, hell, I'll go get one, I'll try it out, we'll see how it works, I'll see if it's actually worth my time, if it's something that's going to be useful to me or not. And personally, I don't know if I'm going to be using one in the future. It's not something for me. That being said, I've been trying this and the meter visor, which isn't really a windscreen, but surprisingly enough, it does a really great job at cutting the wind pressure and giving you a little bit of relief when you're riding on the highway or anything where you have a lot of wind coming at you. But I've got a list prepared for you guys, so let's go find a nice spot to pull over, and I'll give you guys my thoughts on why I think you should or shouldn't get a windscreen for your naked sports bike, especially the 3rd gen SV650. Alright guys, so I've pulled over here in a semi-decent spot and away from the porta potty over there, so hopefully you guys don't mind the scenery. So I'm actually going to give you 3 reasons why not to do it, why not to get the windscreen, and I'll give you 2 reasons why you would get a windscreen. Now, because I'm leaning towards not getting the windscreen, I'll go with those points first. Now, I've been riding with this thing for about a week now, and it's okay, but I don't know. It's led me to think, does it make that much of a difference? And that's my first point. It doesn't make that much of a difference. It's not as big of a deal as you may think. You might think, oh man, the wind is kind of crazy, I wish I had a windscreen, it's going to relieve that. Yes and no. Depending on what size of a windscreen you get or how big of a windscreen you get. I'm a tall guy, I'm 6'1". With this one, all the wind chops me right in the neck. It starts at about my collarbone and it's wind from there on up. And yeah, it feels actually a little bit worse than having no windscreen at some points. because the wind is all directed right at that one spot, so you really feel it. It makes your head heavy because it's pushing on your helmet, so you're straining your neck a little bit more when you're riding, and just generally it's not that much fun. And the next thing I would mention is it takes away from the look. Look at this thing. It's starting to look like an adventure bike. Like, I have a tail bag that I ride with that's over here with all my equipment in it, and with all of that stuff on there, it's starting to go into the adventure bike territory, and that's not really what I'm looking for. I'm looking to have a sports bike because that's what this was made to be, and I ride it like a sports bike, so I don't want all those bags and side bags or whatever. I want it to look sleek and nice and have that streamlined look. And to get that, you can't really have a big windscreen. And the third thing I'm going to mention is it actually affects your handling. Think about it. This one is attached right here at the actual forks. So if you have a windshield that has a large surface area and it's catching the wind and it's pushing on these 2 points right here where it's mounted. So if you're having pressure put there, it just gives you a heavier steering feel. Not a big deal. You don't notice it most of the time, but after riding with it for a little bit, I've noticed it, because I personally I've rode this bike for long enough that I can tell you the difference between riding it with and without the windscreen, and it does make a heavier steering feel. It gives you a little bit less agility, a little bit slower of a steering, and it's not really something that I have enjoyed. 2 reasons why you would get the windshield now. Well, first reason is if you live somewhere where you're riding a lot of highway. If you're riding long trips on the highway and you're doing a lot of commuting, then it would help definitely find the right one for yourself to make sure that you're not having an issue like me where it's chopping the wind right into my neck. But if you find one that's appropriate for your bike and it actually functions the way you intend it to function, then yeah, it'll help you on the highway. It'll help you especially on long trips. That's my second point. If you're going on a long trip, anything that's a day trip or 2 days or something like that, you're going to want one of these guys because you're going to have the strain on you. It's going to be a longer ride. Everything's amplified. You're out there most of the time in places that you don't have readily available help and service. Sometimes you're out in the middle of nowhere. You can't just pull over at a gas station. You can't just go and stop somewhere and grab a bite to eat. If you get tired, you kind of have to stop in the middle of nowhere and keep going until you find civilization. And that's just the way it is. It's kind of the fun of it. It's kind of the pain in the ass of it. But that's what motorcycle trips are. And if you don't have a windshield, it might make it a little bit harder on your body, and you might not be able to do as many hours on the seat as you would like. But that being said, again, find the right one. Find the one that fits your bike. Find the one that's going to fit you, and it's going to make sure that it functions. Because so far, this one, it's not perfect for me. It might be for you if you're a shorter rider. But personally, I think I would use something else. I actually really like the meter visor. It actually cuts the wind pressure all around me. So I think I would stick with something like that. Even though it looks a lot smaller, it does function a little bit better, in my opinion. That being said, guys, since the sun is setting, let's go back on the road, get as much time as we can in the saddle before I have to head home, because I didn't bring my clear visor, so it starts to get a little bit windy with the visor open, and I don't know, riding like that is a pain in the butt. Plus I don't want to get anything in my eye because it's happened before and I don't want it to happen again. Let me know, guys, if you want the windshield for your bike, or if you have one, and how it actually functions, if it's helping you out or if it's not helping you out. But let's get back on the road and keep on riding. So personally, that's what I think. I don't know if you need a windscreen on a naked bike. Like, you bought a naked bike for a reason. If you wanted something for touring, why didn't you buy a touring bike? But no, I'm not yanking anybody's chain or trying to say that you guys bought the wrong bikes. If you buy a windshield, definitely there's uses for it. And hopefully my 5 reasons there give you guys a better understanding of whether or not to buy one for yourself and whether or not to spend the money, because believe me, it's not that big of a difference unless you find the right one, and that's just going to cost you more time in trial and error. But let me know what you guys ride, and if you guys have a windshield or if you're thinking of getting one, and how it actually works for you guys, because in my opinion, I don't need one, but maybe in your riding situation it's different. But for the time being, I'm going to keep testing out this guy, see how it works for the next couple hundred kilometers, and in the next video, or maybe the next 2 videos I will be posting for you guys, I'll mention exactly my full review, and I'll tell you guys if it's a good buy or not a good buy, as well as if you guys should go and buy this over the meter visor. And yeah, so far so good. I've had some good days riding, I've had some long trips, and I just want to do a couple more longer trips, some day trips and stuff like that, maybe one good day trip. That way I can actually tell you what a full day of riding is like with this thing, because the longest I've done so far is about 3 hours, and it's been alright. Other than the fact that it cuts the wind into the wrong place for me because I'm tall, it's so far so good. I will mention that the build quality on it is really good. They didn't cheap out on anything. The brackets are really nice finished. Nothing is out of place. Everything lined up perfect during the install, and no complaints on my side so far. And I will warn you guys, if you are picking up a windscreen for your motorcycle, when you're putting it on and installing it, be very careful. You don't want to get these too tight, these 4 that are on the outside that actually hold the windscreen to the frame, because I thought I might have tightened one a little bit too much. I heard some noises that sounded like a crack. I couldn't see the crack myself with my eye. Maybe it's because of the color of the windscreen, it's tinted, but it looked like it was cracked. It sounded like it cracked. So just be very careful. Don't over tighten it like I did, and hopefully you guys can go and get the right windscreen for yourselves. But I think that's about it for today's video, guys. Sun's going down, so I'm gonna start heading back. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this video was helpful for you guys, and don't forget to leave me a like and a comment. Please subscribe so you don't miss any videos upcoming, and I'll hit you guys up on the next one. Until then, ride safe out there, guys. Peace.